I fully understand the hostility toward UW. There may be, I would put myself in that category with all the hostility toward UW, but that's one reason not to play them. There's a dozen reasons to play them. We owe it to our student athletes.
WSU's athletic director Pat Chun opening up about what happened behind the scenes during the Apple Cup negotiations and the Pac-12 fallout.
Because of the ongoing litigation, WSU couldn't talk about what was going on specifically. And now that the dust is beginning to settle, I sat down with Pat Chun exclusively to talk about the future of athletics for the Cougs. Take us back to August when the dominoes really started to fall, when the majority of the departing schools left. What was happening behind the curtain? Tell us what was happening behind the scenes for Washington State.
President Schultz and I knew the stakes were always going to be highest for Washington State and Oregon State because we were two schools that needed the Pac-12 to continue and thrive. You also recognize that the way college athletics was shifting, that TV dollars are motivating schools on where they go from a conference standpoint, and unfortunately for all of us, and unfortunately for the entire West Coast, the Pac-12 essentially went away as we knew it. And I've been very public about it. I mean, it's a great example of, terrible leadership, failed vision, inability for universities to hold sacred something like a conference and work together. And but it's a byproduct of where we're at in 2023 back then, or 2024 and beyond in college athletics.
Was the goal to rebuild the Pac-12 back in August or now, or was the goal to find a new conference home for WSU?
The goal has always been to do what's best for Washington State. And in this environment, we believe the best thing for Washington State is to position us where all options are available, and we're available for all options.
What do you think the long-term plan is for the Pac-12?
We'll see. We got a lot of work to do really these next couple months to figure out what the short-term viability of the Pac-12 is, which ultimately impacts the long-term viability.
But in terms of the settlement, is there enough to sustain WSU while we rebuild and join a conference or rebuild the conference?
I think those are all TBD as we work toward the completion of that settlement. So, my hope is there is, but we'll see when we actually get to a signed agreement.
Now I want to talk about the partnership with the Mountain West and the WCC. Does it almost feel like speed dating in a way? Does it feel like you're kind of sampling things out to see what fits?
I haven't heard that analogy about speed dating, so that's a good one. Although we know them pretty well, so it wouldn't be a first date by any stretch of the imagination. I think there's a couple things when you look at the agreements we made with both the Mountain West and the WCC. One, a need. Scheduling football games is problematic. They're scheduled 5 to 10 years in advance. So from a football standpoint, we'll go into next year with a unique schedule. We'll technically have one conference game and 11 non-conference games. WCC, there was a need as well. They're looking at this as an opportunity as well. I think we all are, knowing that college athletics, especially at this level, is going to change.
What would you say to the fan base right now?
In my time here, in my 6 years here, I don't know if I've ever been a part of a more unstoppable force than unified Cougs. So, because when Cougs are unified, I've literally watched there's nothing that we can't accomplish. So, the road ahead of us isn't paved by any stretch of the imagination, but that's never stopped Washington State to trying to create its own trail.